Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we are going to highlight 5 fantasy sleepers based on ADP and upside that will get you locked and loaded for your fantasy draft. Let's begin with Trey Benson, who is quickly becoming an intriguing late-round value in fantasy football drafts this year. Going off the board in rounds 10 through 12, the Arizona Cardinals' second-year running back is a prime candidate to shatter expectations and emerge as a breakout star. Here's why savvy fantasy managers should take notice. As a rookie in 2024, Benson flashed serious potential despite limited touches. He logged 291 rushing yards on just 63 carries, good for a strong 4.6 yards per carry. That efficiency placed him near the top among rookie backs with at least 50 carries, showing he has the burst vision and toughness to thrive at the NFL level. James Conner remains the starter for now, but the 30-year-old veteran has a long history of injuries and enters the season with questions about his durability. While still effective when healthy, Conner is reaching the age cliff for running backs and has missed significant time in multiple seasons. Benson, on the other hand, is young, explosive, and has fresh legs. All it may take is one Conner injury or even a few underwhelming performances for Benson to see a spike in usage. And once the door opens, he's the kind of back who can seize control. With a healthy Kyler Murray back under center and another year under offensive coordinator Drew Petzing's system, the Cardinals' offense should be more dynamic and balanced. They've invested in the offensive line and added more weapons to keep defenses honest. That means better game scripts, more red zone trips, and wider running lanes. Exactly the conditions that could allow Benson to thrive, especially if he carves out a consistent role early. Trey Benson checks every box for a fantasy sleeper. If you want a late-round steal who could become your flex anchor or even an RB2, don't leave your draft without Trey Benson. Now let's go to the Windy City for our next deep sleeper. We're going to talk about Roschon Johnson, the hard-nosed Chicago Bears running back who is flying under the radar in 2025 drafts. Currently being selected around round 15, Johnson has the tools, opportunity, and coaching staff to turn into one of the year's most productive deep sleepers. Roschon Johnson didn't put up eye-popping yardage totals in 2024, but he made his presence felt where it matters most, the red zone. Johnson scored 6 rushing touchdowns inside the 20-yard line, showcasing his physicality, vision, and dependability when the field gets tight. This red zone efficiency wasn't a fluke. Johnson consistently earned touches in scoring situations, finishing as the team's most reliable option near the goal line. His combination of size and burst gives him the edge as a short yardage battering ram, and that role is only expected to grow. New head coach Ben Johnson arrives from Detroit. Johnson's offense values physical, downhill runners in the red zone, and Roschon fits that mold to a T. Don't be surprised if Chicago adopts a similar thunder and lightning approach, with Johnson getting the David Montgomery role as the bruising finisher near the goal line. With Caleb Williams entering his second year as the Bears starting quarterback, this offense is primed to take a major leap forward. Williams flashed his elite playmaking ability late in 2024 and now has a full offseason to grow within Ben Johnson's system. A more efficient offense means more red zone trips, and that spells more touchdown opportunities for Roschon Johnson. Even if he doesn't lead the backfield in total touches, the goal line role is gold in fantasy, especially in standard and half PPR leagues. Despite his touchdown upside and locked-in role near the goal line, Johnson is being drafted around round 15 in most leagues. That's incredible value for a player who could easily finish with 8 to 10 touchdowns in a healthy season. His true value begins in round 13, where managers should start targeting him as a premium depth pick with weekly flex potential. At that price, you're drafting a role, not a volume-dependent flyer. Touchdowns matter, and Johnson's role is one of the clearest and most valuable among late-round running backs. Get locked and loaded with Roschon Johnson. And now for 2 solid sleeper wide receiver options. When it comes to late-round fantasy value at wide receiver, Marquise Hollywood. Brown is checking every box heading into the 2025 season. Currently being drafted in round 12, Brown is shaping up to be a post-hype breakout candidate, quietly positioned to thrive in one of the league's most explosive offenses. Here's why the savvy move is to grab him in rounds 10 through 12 before your league mates catch on. Brown's 2024 season with the Kansas City Chiefs was derailed by a nagging shoulder injury that limited him to only a handful of games and capped his effectiveness for much of the year. But when he was on the field and healthy, the Chiefs made it clear they intended to get him involved. In weeks 14 through 17, once he returned to full strength, Brown saw a noticeable uptick in snap share, routes run, and targets, including multiple red zone looks from Patrick Mahomes. That late season usage hints at a much larger role heading into 2025 now that he's fully recovered and integrated into the system. Now, entering his second year in the Chiefs system. And with a full offseason to work with Mahomes, Brown is poised to finally deliver on the upside the Chiefs envision. He's a dynamic route runner with legitimate deep speed, exactly the type of player Mahomes can turn into a game breaker. Let's not forget, Brown signed an $11 million deal in free agency, making him the highest paid wide receiver on Kansas City's roster. That's a strong signal from the front office and coaching staff that they view him as more than just a rotational piece they're expecting production. This is classic post-hype sleeper territory, a talented player who's healthy, cheap, and tied to elite quarterback play. Starting in round 10, he becomes a must-target for managers looking for upside with minimal risk. He has wide receiver 2 upside if things break right, and you're paying a wide receiver 5 price. Get locked and loaded with Hollywood Brown. Moving on to Mile High Stadium, this late-round wide receiver has shown flashes of major potential, and Marvin Mims Jr. deserves your attention. Entering his third year with the Denver Broncos, Mims is being drafted in round 11, but smart managers should start targeting him in round 9 or 10. The pieces are in place for a true breakout. Despite inconsistent usage early in 2024, Mims led all wide receivers in the National Football League in yards after the catch per reception that had a minimum of 35 catches. His explosiveness with the ball in his hands makes him a big play threat every time he touches it. He does not need high volume to produce fantasy-relevant numbers, which makes him especially appealing in deeper formats. Mims saw a clear increase in opportunity in the second half of the 2024 season. After Week 8, his snap counts and targets steadily climbed, signaling growing trust from the coaching staff. With Denver's depth chart in flux and no clear dominant option outside Cortland Sutton, Mims is in prime position to earn a larger role in 2025. Mims had 2 breakout performances last season, multi-touchdown games against both the Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals. Not only did he show his ability to win vertically, but he also earned valuable red zone opportunities, a rare asset for a young wide receiver. Head coach Sean Payton has a strong history of developing speedy, versatile wide receivers. With another full offseason to build chemistry with sophomore quarterback Bo Nix, the trust factor should be strong. Mims fits the mold of a player Payton can scheme into mismatches all over the field. In a transitioning offense with questions at wide receiver, Mims could quickly become one of Denver's most dynamic weapons. Get locked and loaded with Marvin Mims Jr. For our last deep sleeper, we go to the West Coast where the Rams reign supreme. We highlighted this player in our top 5 rookie tight end video, but considering he is being drafted in the final rounds of drafts are not at all we thought, we should emphasize his potential upside. Terrence Ferguson is flying under the radar and fantasy managers should pay close attention. Ranked as the 6th overall tight end at the NFL Combine, Ferguson stands tall at 6'5" and 247 pounds, combining size with surprising athleticism. The Los Angeles Rams and Sean McVay clearly saw enough to trust Ferguson, selecting him in the 2nd round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Paired with veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford, Ferguson has a golden opportunity to make an immediate impact. Currently, Ferguson's fantasy ADP is non-existent, making him a true sleeper pick in the final rounds of your draft. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded.